Re-adulting? I only thought we had to do adulting once. Yeah, so you thought, unless you decide to move to another country.
So this is another thing, part of the adulting, where I felt like a kid again, learning all about how to do things in Africa.
Yeah, so this is the dryer.
What is this, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you that and a whole lot more in this episode about adulting in Africa. How to pay your electricity, how to work the stove, how to get internet, how to wash your clothes, all those little things that you have to relearn when you already learned how to do them in America. So stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe to see more videos with traveling with me. So we have 45.69 kilowatts left. So this is an electricity box. I don't really know the technical name for it, but anyways, people just say your electric box. And it shows us, it toggles between showing us how much kilowatts we've used and how many kilowatts we have left. That's interesting, I didn't even know that. So this box has a green light. It'll turn red when you're getting low. Then it'll start beeping when you're really low. That's when you know you need to put some more money on it. So our experience when we came was there's no instruction manual when you move to another country, so you have to figure out things. So it started beeping, and we didn't know. Our landlord had put some money on it. We had sent her some money. She put some money on it for us. She told us when we got there we would have to refill it ourselves. So we would find the box, but then we had to ask people that live here, like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go? So we went down to like a little corner store near the masjid that we lived near, and we put money on the box, and we would give the guy this code that's on the side. It's your box code, and then he would enter it. We would give him the money. He would enter how much money we put on. There's a little bit of money for a fee, and then we would come home and push this into the box, press enter, and a little smiley face appears, and you have more electricity. So what we learned was once we got a Senegal number, you can actually do it from your phone. So that's a whole nother step. You'll have to have credit on your phone. You'll have the Senegalese phone number and SIM card in order to do that. When we learned how to do it on the phone, it's a lot simpler. You enter all these numbers in, you enter your box code, you enter the selection that you want, and then they give you the code and you put it in there, and voila, you have more electricity. But it took us a while, took some trials and errors. So that's the electricity, how the electricity works for us in Medina by Senegal.
The internet in Senegal. So this is what we started with. This, you can see that's the orange box, some type of orange box. And if you turn around in the back, you see it's kind of like the routers, what we use in America. It's got the plug, it goes into the wall, and it's got this little cable, and it's connected to the wall. So the problem was it did not work as well as we needed it to. So I'm gonna take you guys to see what we eventually used. Introducing the fly box. Now it's in the hall because these things are really weird. Some of them get great range, and then others are weird. So my friend next door, sometimes I pick up her fly box in my house, but if this fly box is in like the other room, I might not be able to pick up the signal. So it's really weird. Overall, I would recommend the fly box until they come up with something better, even though it has its pros and cons too. In order to get a fly box, though, you will probably have to go down to the Orange Center. You're gonna take like a half a day to do this because we had to wait. You have to have a Senegalese phone number so they can attach it to your box, bring your passport, and anything like that. And you know, it is a process, and maybe take someone that can translate for you, or make sure you have your Google Translate. They do speak French. But yeah, so I would go with the Flybox. Paying for it once you get the Orange app or the I think the Orange app, you're able to pay for it. You can get the Orange app on your phone, or there's different numbers they will kind of walk you through what to enter to pay or add money, add internet credit to your Flybox.
Hi guys, we are in the kitchen. So we have kind of an American style house, so it's not, let's just take a little tour. You know, we have a refrigerator. This is, you know, we know how to work a refrigerator. It's like, you know, American style. I mean, we do get a lot of ice in the background sometimes, but you know, we just chip that off or let the refrigerator and freezer defrost. We have found that these appliances are really made for the hot weather. Like they can last. We had some American appliances in our other apartment, our friend's other apartment, and it just did not have the same capacity to keep things cool and work like it did, and even in our house in Dakar, to work like these do. So you probably want to get an appliance, even if you have an American style kitchen, you want to get an appliance that really will work in Senegal, you know, and of course it'll plug into the plugs. You won't have to get a converter box and that kind of thing. So even though this is pretty user friendly, just think about that. And instead of having an appliance shipped over, try to get appliances that are native to that country. So what else? You see we have cabinets, nothing of surprises here, just, you know, kind of work like we're used to. We did find any appliances we got, like a toaster or water kettle or blender, it really is better to get it here because it's less of a chance of it blowing a fuse. We brought a few things, and I think everything we brought eventually blew a fuse one way or another, even when we had converters or the right wattage to put in. So just keep that in mind when you bring any appliances over. And our sink's kind of, you know, standard American style that we're kind of used to, even though a lot of things are written in Chinese. Now let me show you where I really struggled. Now we have a cook and a / maid, so we didn't have to do a lot of cooking, but of course sometimes, you know, you want to bake, you want to cook something. And so the stove was no problem. A regular stove like we're used to. It is native to Senegal. We learned how to light it here. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I still don't know how to work this stove 100%. I know how to turn on the eye so we can cook some eggs or make something. I don't know what this does. I really don't know what this does. So if anybody, let's zoom in right here. If anybody knows what this does and how I need to work it, please tell me, because I'm sure someone has lived in another country long enough to know. This is probably a stove from China. But here's where we really ran into the problem. Okay, so of course we can deduce that this is the broiler, and we can deduce that this is the bake. It shows the fire coming from below, the fire coming from above. No problem. So I figured this was like the others. We turn it here, and we do that. And I wanted to push this or this. None of those worked to start it. So, okay, we said we have to get a lighter to start it. So we started with a lighter. Here's the issue and the thing we've had to learn, and we still don't know how to do it. Look at this. Let's zoom in right here. It says min and max. Crickets. There's no 350. There's no even conversion I can do like in another metric system. There's just min and max. So let me turn off the gas. So when you're cooking, like for instance, I make banana bread. We make muffins or cupcakes or something like that. When you're cooking, what do you turn it to? So we kind of did a lot of trial and error. We just stuck it right in the middle, and I would turn it up a little bit, and then sometimes I would turn it down. I really didn't know what to put it on, and we still don't really know. Every time I cook, it's just like a mystery. I've made biscuits from scratch. It's just a mystery. So if anybody out there knows what min means, what temperature is that? What's the middle? What's max mean? That way, like in our terms, like we know in America, we cook things on 350, maybe 400, maybe even 450. So if you know along these lines where that is, please help, because this is a part of adulting that we're still trying to do in Africa. So, but so far we haven't really burnt anything. We made cookies a couple of weeks ago. They turned out great. Cookies from scratch. So, you know, it's just another one of those things you just have to try. And I was really scared of using the oven for a while because of this. But then I just went and tried, and it, you know, first I didn't know how to light it, and then finally we figured out how to light it. And so yeah, so this is another thing, part of the adulting, where I felt like a kid again, learning all about how to do things in Africa. Okay, last thing in the kitchen that I want to cover is if you have a washing machine. Now these things, some of these things came before we were here, but they're the appliances and tools that people use here. So this washing machine, it says something Japan, but it's a Sharp. And if you look, it's got English, and it's got like some things that look like the temperature, 30 degrees, 60 degrees. So let me just tell you our little story and our experience with this. We did not know what to wash it on. It says cotton. So we're thinking, oh, this is like what we know in America. The first time we washed anything, we might have put it on hand wash or delicate. Maybe we were washing a dress like this. Literally, this thing took like 3 hours to wash something. We don't know what's happening in the machine. Almost every setting on here, except this first one called Super Jet, took 2 to 3 hours. One, I think it even took 6 hours. So guys, we still don't really know how to work this machine. And I'm sure, like, we looked up a few instructions, but we just didn't really have time for that. So I put it on the short setting. It's literally like 15 minutes or less. And we do that twice. And I put soap in the first one, the second one I don't put any soap in. And that's how we've been washing our clothes. Sometimes we do the hand wash. The hand wash one is the other shortest, and that's literally like 2 hours. So this has been a fun adventure. All right, so we're going to go hang up these clothes. We're gonna show, I used to do this when I was a kid, but I stopped because we had dryers. But when I grew up with my grandparents and lived with them, we would hang clothes on the line. So I usually don't have to do this. Our maid is here, but she's not here yet, and it's getting late.
She is here, Mommy.
Oh, she is here? Okay, so we'll take it upstairs, but I'll hang a few to kind of show you how it's done.
And I want a videotape saying that Mommy doing it.
May have never done this. Like, my children never did this. They never. Come on.
It's really nice when outside.
Okay.
That's the clothesline.
My camera woman was having problems, so I just had to take over. Anyways, this is the clothesline. You put a clothespin, you put the clothes here. You want to try to do this early in the morning, because by now, which is like 1 o'clock, and yeah, this is why you have to use clothespins. You see, everything is blowing away. We've lost things to the wind. They blow into neighbors' yards. Sometimes neighbors give them back, sometimes they don't. But yeah, so this is the dryer. Woo. That African sun. So yeah, that's all for this video on re-adulting in Senegal. It's so many more things. So instead of doing a part 2, I'm gonna kind of do hopefully your survival tips, what we had to learn to live in Senegal, and that will go into depth with a few more things. But all right, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time.